Welcome to my channel, Spirit, Soul, Sense, Information for Your Soul. I am about to get ready to go on a friend date with my good friend Latifa. And I just finished watching the part 2 of the Derrick Jaxn video on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I used to listen to that podcast a lot, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it wasn't for my taste anymore. Too Christian-y for me. I'm not Christian. I'm very spiritual, but I'm not Christian. So like my perspective is from psychologists, lots of psychology background, and as a person who has been in an abusive relationship. I really get what was happening. So I don't know what year it was that Derrick Jaxn became like really popular. But whatever year that was, I think is the year I discovered him. And it's like, I don't know. Something is off about this guy, right? I was never subscribed to his YouTube channel. And I didn't watch all his videos. But there is truth in a lot of what he said. But there was something that rubbed me the wrong way. And then as a person from the Caribbean who is used to men kind of being not loyal, because a lot of Caribbean men like to cheat. But like Caribbean men they like to claim you, right? They like to say, this is my woman. They like to brag. They like to, they express how proud they are of you, right? That's the kind of interactions with men that I'm used to. And so for him not to show his wife, I thought it was super weird. I thought it was super weird. And to me, it was like one of the major red flags. And I think I stopped following him when he started having toddler car seats in his car. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think this man living a double life. I have no idea what's going on. But it, like, the messaging, the energy behind it doesn't sound right. So when all that stuff with Tasha K came out last year, I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised. I was like, that makes perfect sense. With what I was feeling, because I get these feelings about people, and I have these feelings about like current celebrities who have not been exposed or anything. That's none of my business, right? That's literally none of my business. So it's like what is done in the dark always comes to light. Maybe not like right now, maybe not when somebody's alive, but we will find out like what is happening. Like, be honest, live true. I was all up in the sauce, let me tell you. I love pop culture, and I have stopped talking about that kind of stuff on my channel. I still haven't figured out like how I want to bring it back. I don't know, but here's a video about this, right? This is happening like in real time. When it was happening last year, I think it was last year, right? When it was all happening, I was plugged in. I was all up in these people's business. I was reflecting on like my own relationship, how it's so easy for me to see red flags and to see a woman in pain. Like, it's so easy for me. It was always easy for me, right? It's so easy for me to acknowledge the pain in other people because I know what it felt like. Like, I know what it felt like to want to be chosen, to feel like you had to do. I explained this all in my video about being in an abusive relationship. Wanting to be loved by this one person, wanting them to pick you. And like my ex picked me, sure, but there was often or regularly enough a threat of an other if I didn't do what he wanted. So it's just, it was so stressful. So when she came out with the bonnet video, when she came out with like her own video, like rebuking people, like cursing people, I was like, oh God, this lady is hurting. I was pleasantly surprised at the video because it doesn't feel like that much time has passed. To me, it don't feel like that much time has passed since those videos came out. But healing doesn't have a date on it. Like, it's not like, oh, I've been working on this for a year, I'm healed, or I've been working on this for 6 months, I'm not healed. It's literally intention, plus energy and consistency that leads to healing. And that woman, the energy from that woman in that interview sounded like fantastic. So main points that she shared. To heal from narcissistic abuse, you have to acknowledge your role. You have to admit that you were in denial, And like she says a lot in the video, I was a willing participant. The problem is a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that they did anything wrong, or that there was things that they should change or do better. You literally have to do that in order to heal. So this lady says she had 3 therapists, right? And worked her way down to 1 after 3 months. Had spiritual counseling. Like, her healing was intense. And as a person who grew up in the church, like, Jesus was my pathway to healing a lot of my wounds. So, like, I get it. Like, there's so much dogma in the church, but I fully understand, believe how this woman was able to heal. I feel like one of the biggest takeaways is do the work. Like, you can't not do the work. I would say Derrick Jaxn performed the work, performed that he was being better, doing better, you know, doing the activities, but like actually sitting down and saying, I want to change my behavior for me because it will mean less stress, less chaos in my life. I wonder how he's doing, like watching his wife, soon to be ex-wife, flourish like this. I'm not diagnosing him as a narcissist or anything, because I can't diagnose anyone unless they're in front of me. But we can say that a lot of his traits resembled somebody with a personality disorder. I don't like to use all that foundation. People don't understand personality disorders, because we could also say that a lot of her traits resembled a personality disorder. We could say that. I know she wasn't formally, I think she was formally diagnosed, but just doesn't know what the diagnosis was. If she was using insurance, which she probably wasn't, you have to give a diagnosis. But the kind of life impairment, suicidal ideation, or attempts, and suicidal ideation and attempts that she experienced, homegirl had something that was in that diagnostic manual, I'm sure. But I don't know. I didn't evaluate her. I'm just listening to her in this interview talk about her pain and her struggles. And I do think it was a really, really good testament for other people to look and see. And I think her future is bright. Like, bright. I think she could do whatever she wants in this life. I think the healing journey she is on will touch so many lives. And just like Latera said, like, this girl, this is just the beginning. Like, you haven't even brushed the surface of all the potential you have inside of you, because there's no way, just look at life and history. There's no way somebody could be so low, make attempts to be better, and not soar. There's no way. The sad part is this happens so much often than you realize. I would say this is probably an extreme case. Most people don't end up having as much wealth and notoriety as Derrick Jaxn has. Like, I think about like my ex, right? My ex was already from like a prominent family. And so that went on for what we had went on for a long time, partly because like this, I thought this was who I was supposed to be with. Like, it felt like equally yoked. Imagine if that man had money. Oh my God. Imagine if he had money. I don't know. Like, that could have gone on another 5 years. Legit could have gone on another 5 years. Why not? Money's an amplifier. It just brings out what's already there. So I just imagine it would have been, this man had real money. It's so hard to leave. But I know from the work that this camera is too low, huh? I know from the work that I do that there are so many people in pain. I know from research that sexual abuse is so much more rampant than people would like to think. And if you yourself haven't been, you know people. Because that perpetrator, abuser usually does it to more than one person. And then that's not even to count the regular trauma that people experience. Things that don't have to do with sexual abuse, but basically not feeling worthy or seen by people who are supposed to take care of you. This is a perfect time in your life where you can reflect on, is there something you need to do better? Is there something that you need to be doing differently? Is there something that you could be doing to heal those parts of yourself? Because we all have a journey to the best version of ourselves. We all do. There's so many books that you could use. One of my favorite books for this sort of trauma is Women Who Love Too Much. You don't have to read that book to experience the kind of healing that Derrick Jaxn has experienced, right? But you have to do the things, like you have to take all the steps. You have to release the denial. You have to acknowledge your part. You have to seek a mentor. You have to go to therapy. You have to have a spiritual routine. You need community. Like you have to do a lot of things in order to heal. I wish the level of peace and freedom that Derrick is feeling now on everyone. Her story really in extremities, similar to Tina Turner. Tina Turner has a story. If you don't know about her story, I know people make this joke about Ike and Tina all the time, but she was literally beat up, and has lived such a full life. Similar to Derrick, she wasn't physically beat up, but she was emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, all of these beat up by this man. By herself, right? By herself first. You don't allow those sorts of things if you're not doing it to yourself first. She did it to herself first, and she acknowledged that she was the key to her healing. A lot of times for women, their kids help them be better. Like you fight to thrive for the sake of your kid. I'm so glad she found healing, and her story is going to help so many people. I wanted to mention like 2 other things. A lot of people who are controlling, manipulative, lying, living double lives like he was, right? Probably have a personality disorder. And he probably feels like super empty inside. One of the tasks of manhood is to control your sexual drive. Not to say there aren't people who have high sex drive, right? I think you can be a sex worker. I think you can, be a porn star. I think you can be in an open marriage. And it's like what do you call it? Opposites, whatever. There are different ways to be in relationship to people. You can exhibit a level of control even in those situations, right? You can be someone who has sex with a lot of people and exhibit a level of control. That's not him, right? You can be a porn star with problems, right? Or you can be someone who, engages in sexual activity, who has a balanced life. My last piece about Christianity, it's a beautiful thing that can be used to inform people, give people hope and light and direction. But we see how this lady used her Christianity as a weapon to curse people out, to basically wish death and destruction on other people and their families. Nope. I really wish the best on them and their family. I hope that their kids get therapy, because with parents like that, you can imagine the energy that was going on in that house. Healing on everyone, including me, including you, including them. Let us remember that we have to focus on our own lives and make the actual changes that we can make in our personal lives. It's great to learn from other people and their experiences, but always bring it back to you. In what areas do you need more light to be shed on so that you can grow into the best version of yourself? Thank you for watching.